welcome back, or welcome if you are new to my booktube channel, Goddess of Gore. My name is Vix and I like to talk about horror, thriller, sometimes fantasy and occasionally sci-fi books every week. And this week it's time to get my lab coat on once again and get all nerdy over some reading statistics. Yes, that's right. Now that June is all wrapped up, I can talk about the 40 books I read in the second quarter and my top 5 books of the last 3 months. I'll get my lab coat, you get the conical flasks and stopwatch, and we'll get on with it. So, just like in the last one, I have been busy computing all the data and making some colourful pie charts, so it shouldn't take too long to run through the numbers. What shall we start with this time? Well, first I have to say, it's time for the science part. Concentrate. Book length. So here's the chart. I again have logged pages only, so I made the audiobooks into physical books and counted their pages too, and I got through a big old 11,592 pages this quarter. That averages to about 127 pages per day, which is alright I suppose, but unusually for me the main book length was less than 300 pages. Last quarter it was only 20%, was less than 300 pages compared to 50% this time, but that's mainly because I took part in 2 readathons in May, so yes, 20 shorter books and only 3 longer books again, which was the same amount as last time. Intended age of the reader was pretty normal, with almost 90% being adult and 10% young adult, just 10% more adult books than the first quarter. So not much change there. The format of the books I read changed slightly this month, with 21 of my books being ebooks, and this is mainly because, if you haven't noticed, I haven't been doing book hauls recently. I've been trying to stick to ebooks since I have so many on my e-reader already, and yes, I do buy cheap second-hand books, but I've not been doing much spending anywhere, so I haven't been able to go to the charity shops in the first place, nor going to the library either, which is shockingly shameful for me. So yes, 21 ebooks, 14 of them physical, and only 5, a tiny 12% of audio, compared to a pretty even split last time. How my reading habits have changed in 3 months. Thanks, Tory economy. Genres next, and as my introductions say, it's horror and thriller as the main contenders, over half being horror. But I might have to stop saying sometimes fantasy, because I read almost as many fantasy as I did thriller mysteries this time, with 6 and 7 apiece. And poor old sci-fi only getting 1, and silly old general fiction beating it with 5. But I am so happy I got in so much horror. Ownership of the books. I should put this after the format really, shouldn't I? Oh well. As I said, I haven't been out much in the last few months, so whereas there wasn't much difference in the borrowed or given split this time, I only borrowed 6, a measly 15%. I'm going to have to fix that, but I'm finally getting through those NetGalley arcs. But I own 25 of the books I read this month. Did I do any better with publishing year of the books? Yes, I did. The last time 50% of the books I read were published since 2020, but this time I got it down to 45%. But I read 1 from each decade of the 1870s, 1890s, 1910s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 2 from the noughties. 35% from the 2010s. A good mix, but I would like more variety in there. And then finally, the rating of the books last time, over half of my books were 4 stars, and I did say I needed to get better at giving lower marks for books. So although I gave out the same amount of 5 stars as last time, I've given out more 2 and 3 stars. 7 2 stars compared to only 2 last time, and that's not because I read worse books. I just got more honest and made 3 my that wasn't bad but I would recommend it. I mean, if 5 is the top, then 2.5 is the average. Next quarter I might even give out some ones if it's terrible. I was looking at some ratings I'd given this quarter and some of them totally could have been ones. That's all the pie charts done. I know, oh, so sad. So, the top 5 then. First, let's look at the top 3s of the past month. So April was Together We Will Go by J. Michael Straczynski, The Rats by James Herbert, When the Reckoning Comes by Latanya McQueen. May's top 3 was Slugs by Sean Hudson, The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden, and The Grown Up by Gillian Flynn. And June's top 3 were The Luminous Dead by Caitlin Starling, Tender is the Flesh by Augustina Basterrecka, and Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. Well, this is tense. What made the top 5 of the second quarter? Play the music. Boop. Fifth place is Slugs by Sean Hudson. Number 4, Where the Reckoning Comes by Latanya McQueen. Now, I struggled to do this, but I didn't want to cop out and make 3 number 1s, so I had to be brutal. And I put Bear and the Nightingale, I'm so sorry Catherine Arden, at 3rd place. And then Tender is the Flesh by Augustina Basterrecka in 2nd. So, number 1, strangely, Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. I think I must really have needed that cosy fantasy book. Sometimes it just happens. Wow, I read some good books in the last 3 months. I will link my wrap-ups in the description below if you want to hear more about the monthly top 3 books. I do hope this wasn't too boring and long. I know statistics aren't interesting really, but I like picking my top 5 because it will make doing my final best books of the year so much easier. So if you managed to stay till the end, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your favourite books have been so far. Maybe you can recommend me a new favourite. I'm going to go and put the Petri dishes filled with agar in the dark, and in 3 months' time we will see what we have grown. And remember, Officer Dorf said it best when he said, "You kids keep your noses clean, you understand? You'll be hearing from me if you don't. We ain't gonna stand for no weirdness out here." Until next time, bye bye.